You tell a story. He does too. Can he one up you? Well, that's up to you. Tell your best tale, and you never know. You could be a winner on the One Upper Show.
Okay, and welcome back to the One Upper. I'm your host, Ted Blazak. We're coming to you today from Farmers Market in downtown Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And we've got another great guest who's come by our little booth here. And what's your name, sir?
My name's Daniel
And where are you from, Daniel?
from Susanville, California.
Susanville, California. Are you here visiting?
No, I actually lived in Reno for quite a while and moved to Idaho about 2 years ago after I retired.
So you're good for you to be retired. And so now you live in this area.
I do.
Oh, okay,
North
great.
Idaho. Love it.
Yeah, wonderful. Good for you. So I hear you got a great story.
I have an unusual story, yes.
Unusual. That's very good. So lay it on us.
Well, it happened in a house. Most residences have either a basement or a crawl space.
Uh-huh.
There was a long winter and water had accumulated under this house, which was for sale.
Did you own this house, or
Yes.
and you're living in this house and
Correct.
you're selling it? Where is this?
This is in the city of Reno.
In Reno. Okay.
So I rented a pump and I was going to pump the water out
Yeah.
and had an extension cord with me and a sump.
This is a crawl space underneath the main floor.
Yeah, in the closet is a latch. You
Yeah.
just pull that up. It's usually carpeted
Yeah.
and it crawled right down into the space. Down in there was probably a solid 6 to 8 inches of water that had accumulated.
Uh-huh.
And in order to sell the residence,
Yeah.
the water needed to be gone.
Sure
And
it
I was
did.
the one
Yeah.
that was going to do it.
Was it just like rainy and a high water level?
It was an unusual winter, just like they had this year.
Oh, I see. And a lot of runoff.
So it was a
and all,
runoff
yeah.
had gone into the house during
Yeah.
the inspection. It failed the inspection, and the
Oh.
water needed to be removed.
Sure.
So I had a lot of fear about death prior to this,
Oh, really?
because this is a near-death experience story.
So you were thinking about your own mortality just before this event?
Life, I think we all, to be honest, I think we all consider our own mortality.
I think about it all the time. I'm trying to defeat the odds and live forever, but I don't think I'll pull it off.
If you were to ask anybody to be completely honest with you, they would tell you that there is a huge fear of dying,
Yes. It's quite
What-
consuming.
which is what I had until I had this.
Oh, and now you don't have.
Now I no longer have.
Oh, wow. Okay, so what happened?
Well, I had gone down there 2 times, and I had a pump attached to an extension cord. Pumped for about an hour or two the first time I was down there. Came out, took a break, went back in, had the extension cord around my neck, and was plugged into the pump. And I made a terrible mistake with the extension cord, which doesn't really matter, but the incident wouldn't have occurred had I not made a mistake. However, I heard a loud crack,
Yeah.
a loud flash,
Yeah.
and I was being fully electrocuted.
Wow. So the extension cord was plugged in, but it fell in the water like at a connection
Essentially,
point. Yeah.
yes.
And then
But it was attached to me, and I was
were you standing in the water or
I was
laying?
kneeling in the water.
That's what underneath the crawl
Yeah,
space.
so I
Yeah.
was kneeling down, kind of hunched over, plugged into electricity. I was in the process of moving from one location down there to another.
Mm.
The electrocution happened, and the only thing that would work was my thought system. You think, well, that's weird. What else you have? Well, you have your movement of all your body, and I no longer had that. All I had were my thoughts.
You were paralyzed.
I was completely paralyzed. I knew for a fact I was electrocuted, and I was positive, without a doubt in the world, that I was going to die.
Wow. Wow. But you're still conscious and you're still thinking.
I'm still conscious. I'm still have the ability to think, and to feel mentally how I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah.
But I no longer had use of any portion of my body.
How long were you in this state for?
That's a good question. I don't know because a lot of things transpired in what I'm about to tell you.
Please continue. Please.
So when I realized I was going to die, I somehow started making peace with those that I knew in my life, friends, family, etc. So I initially said, I'm sorry. It was kind of telepathically, I said, I'm sorry for the mistake that I made, and I'm sorry that I had to die this way.
Mm.
I then said goodbye. I said goodbye to everybody, and this probably all happened in a short period of time. I
Yeah.
went from feeling very fearful
Yeah.
to very sorry
Yeah.
to then saying my goodbyes.
Wow.
And about the time I finished my goodbyes, my consciousness shift from being in the body still, like being in thought and being in the
Yeah.
body,
Yeah.
consciousness shifted from that perspective into an out of body experience,
Really?
which is where some people describe seeing the light or going into the light.
Yeah.
And so what started to form, it looked like a cloud.
Yeah.
It was light, it was cloud, but it was its own intelligence.
Huh.
It had its own intelligence, its own life to it. And I started to merge with it. As I started to merge, I knew that if I had merged completely with the light,
Yeah.
that I was going to die.
Oh.
That was going to be the end point. And as I'm
Yeah.
coming closer to it, all I felt was the most ridiculously amount of love that I've ever felt in my entire life.
Wow.
The only way I could describe it is that if you took, say, a garden hose and plugged it into yourself and turned on the water and
Yeah.
you were being filled up and you couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
I can't take it. I
Yeah.
can't take it. It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much love. Now, this isn't love down here on earth where you love somebody until they wrong you and then you no longer love them anymore.
Right. Yeah.
This love was like divine,
Yeah.
and I really think it's what most people long for.
Huh.
Is to give and receive that amount of love. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, I've never found that here, although I'm happily married. I've never found that
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
on this earth.
Yeah.
So when the electrocution stopped,
Yeah.
because it did stop,
Yeah.
I left that realm
Yeah.
that was, you call it heavenly. Words can't describe it. It was the most amazing place. It was like home.
Yeah.
When the electrocution stopped, it was as if I had left home, left the place I'd always wanted to be, the only place I'd ever felt totally comfortable, and I was back in the body,
Yeah.
back in the basement, back in the mud, facing my dilemma of pumping this out. Well, in the process of the electrocution, I dislocated my shoulder and came out of the hole there and called 911, was
Yeah.
transported to a local hospital, and then treated for the electrocution as well as the dislocated shoulder.
Mm, This is an absolutely fascinating story, and I so appreciate your sharing it with us. But also, you tell it so well. I mean, it's just I thank you for sharing it with so much detail.
Well, I've had more fear of sharing the story than I have reliving the story, to be honest, because I've only told personal friends and family because, it's a strange world and I wouldn't want to be viewed as being someone that's out there. But unless you have an experience like this,
Yeah.
you really have nobody else to talk to about it.
Well, well, now you're telling a lot of folks, so that's good. That's great. Wow. So do you have any idea how long you were in the water in the basement?
I think what ultimately happened was that when I was bent down on one knee,
Yeah.
when the electrocution started, it has the ability, if you've seen any videos, it'll knock you or throw you.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But I think what happened is when the electricity hit, it threw me. It kind of pushed me up and back. I had hit my shoulder on a part of the subfloor of the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
That's what separated it out. So I think in time, because in the afterlife there is no time.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Sure.
In time, it may have been 10 seconds
Oh. Oh. Wow. Okay.
or 5 seconds.
Yeah.
In the experience of having it, it seemed like it was quite a long time because, as I've said before, with that sensation of being filled with love, that felt like it had continued way beyond its point because, like I said, I was at max capacity and was basically asking for it to stop because I
Yeah.
had no more ability to hold that much love. It was like I was literally
Huh.
going to explode
That's amazing.
if I didn't offload somehow. So I was gonna explode by being too full of love, as well as being at the point of merging with the light. Electrocution was over, and I was back in the body. Now I do have to say that when I realized I had survived this, I had two reactions. One was I'm really grateful for making it.
Yeah.
And the other one was what the hell am I doing back here?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be back.
Yeah. 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 That's actually my next question is like, if you could, I'm sure you're happy being married to this lovely lady and living your life here in Idaho and stuff, but would you, if you were to go back there in that very moment, would you have rather stayed with the love than return to this earthly plane?
100%.
Really? Wow.
Since then, I'd gotten married, had a child, and things
Yeah.
like that, and lived life like everybody else
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
I had now it doesn't make me want to go out and die,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
but the ability to go back into that, live
Yeah.
that entirely, I would do that immediately.
Because it's just that irresistible because it's that the love is that powerful.
It's so hard to explain. It's kind of like if you were hungry, you were thirsty, you were sad or seeking love in your
Yeah.
life, receive it or give it.
Yeah.
You have all these longings. And this came along by itself, patched all those holes at once.
Yeah.
Not only did it just patch them, it was like so unbelievable fulfilling that, like I said, the good and the bad was the good was that I was experiencing it.
Yeah.
Was when it was over with and I was back in the body.
Yeah.
I felt really unfortunate to be back here.
It's fascinating. And what, how long ago did this happen? 5, 6 years ago?
Oh
Or
no, it was 20 years
oh,
ago.
20 years
Yeah.
ago.
It makes like I can't say it's affected my life,
Yeah.
but it kind of has
Sure.
because nothing, as far as I know, nothing is going to compare.
Yeah.
Nothing, no more years of my life or experiences throughout life, I think will be able to compare to that
Yeah.
because it was so fulfilling.
Yeah.
So it kind of leaves me somewhat empty,
Uh-huh. And interesting.
an empty space.
Yeah. Yeah. Did
But
it
there's no way to replace that.
did it kind of change your worldview or your kind of behavior you're dealing with day-to-day life? That suddenly little things that would irritate people, like, you know, losing your car keys, to those things no longer irritate you? Or
Certainly, it
oh,
almost changed my entire outlook on life. I
yeah.
used to be worried about the small things, when they
Yeah.
were things when they
Yeah.
were occurring.
Yeah.
Back on it, I was highly into sports, and
Yeah.
who wins and who loses,
Yeah.
whether there's enough money or not enough money.
Yeah.
All aspects of life changed because I realized that ultimately none of it matters.
Huh. Yeah. Amelia Earhart once said, I feel so bad for the people who have never had to look death in the face because they worry about the littlest things. And wow. So this is a amazing story. Um, Usually this is kind of a lighthearted game show where people
Figured.
yeah, yeah. No, but we welcome everyone has a story and some of them can be quite profound like yours. So I'm very, very happy you came to share it.
It's funny, when I saw the sign there, I had been thinking, I only told probably 20 people the story.
Yeah.
So I'm not about writing a book or
Yeah.
having a name for myself. It removes those things from you.
Sure.
People have that
Yeah.
experience, I think. It
Yeah.
doesn't, there's no notoriety to be gotten from it.
Yeah.
And so I really didn't want any attention or anything.
Yeah.
When I saw the sign here, I thought it was really interesting about having a story. And that's
Yeah.
my primary story in life was
Yes.
this, and it affected me from that on.
It's a very big story, and I'm honored that after 20 years you chose our show to be more
I
public with
appreciate
it.
that. I'll remember this day forever because there's always a first, and this was a first for me to
Uh,
somebody that wasn't part of the family or friends clan.
yeah.
So
Well,
I appreciate it.
yeah. Well, thank you. Um, so usually at this point in the show, I try to one
yeah.
up you with a story from my life,
Let's hear it.
and well, I've never been in a coma. I've never shocked myself. I've never had essentially died. I've nothing like that. Um, this is probably the closest thing that I have to you. And I'm going to say you've won. You're getting a t-shirt and you should be proud of that t-shirt because you really earned it. um, I'm driving in a car with one of my best buddies in Montana. I'm 19 years old. It's early spring. I think it's Route 90 that goes through. We're near the Seven Sister Mountain, and there's two lanes headed east, two lanes headed west, and a big dip in the divide between the two. There's snow and some ice and stuff everywhere. We're driving down the highway. My buddy's driving at about 70 miles an hour. And all of a sudden, he hits this ice patch and his tire blows. I happen to have, this is way back when, I had my Kodak Instamatic camera with me, and I was just taking pictures of these seven mountains. As the front passenger wheel pops, the car starts spinning and does these donuts at 70 miles an hour. The car dips down into the dividing dip, a little valley in the road there, and into the other side of oncoming traffic. And there's a semi barreling right at us and leaning on his horn. And my buddy manages to hit the gas and just get the car back in the median, and we don't get killed. And but what was weird is the whole time this car is just spinning around and around doing 360s. I'm taking pictures of him and I'm laughing hysterically. And I don't know why, but I have absolutely no fear. And for some reason, I think this is absolutely hilarious. And I'm not a weird guy. This is, I'm not attracted to death or anything like this, but it was just that's what happened. And he's a very good friend of mine. I'm blessed to have a lot of really good close college friends still with me, and we get together like every year or so, and we take out the old pictures, and I have 4 or 5 of these old pictures of him white knuckled holding on to the steering wheel. And yeah, but then we managed to get a tow, get the tire fixed, sat in a bar, drank beers, and laughed about it. My friend thought I was crazy.
How could you have had a camera ready and willing to go about the same time the incident happens?
Well, we're going down the highway, and this is my first time in Montana. I just graduated college. He was my college roommate for 4 years. Dan Vermillion, great guy. Hey, Dan, how are you? I know he listens. And so he's pointing out it's the mountains that were called the Seven Sisters, and he's telling me the story about them. And wherever we go, and it's the first time in Montana, I happen to have the camera and I'm taking pictures of everything. So I was literally taking a picture out the windshield to try to get these mountains when the whole thing started. So then I just kept clicking, clicking, clicking. And honestly, I don't know why I was laughing, because like horror movies scare me. Haunted houses scare me. I don't do any of that stuff. The kids tease me all the time over it. But yeah. So that's my near death story. But I didn't die. You did.
Did you look back at how close death could have been?
I've so um in my life, I had kind of a troubled childhood, and there's a lot of despair, and so almost very early on, I learned the words of Amelia Earhart, and I've never I lose my phone and car keys and things like that all the time, and never bothers me. The only thing that other bothers me now is other people when they're being rude or something.
I think we all have a problem with people. We prefer animals and nature.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, this was a great story.
I appreciate it. I'm glad I came by, you
Yeah.
guys.
I'm glad you shared it too. So, if you in our audience there at home can feel that you've got an amazingly profound story like this, we would love to hear it. So please email it to the oneupper.show@gmail.com. You can send us an audio, video, or type it up and we'll read it on the air. And we'll share your story and send you a t-shirt in the mail. And we love to hear from you. And just
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
It's been an honor to come by. I appreciate
I
it. Thank
really
you guys so
appreciate it
much.
too.
The One Upper Show is brought to you by Trailblazing Canvassers and the Burning Sage Productions.